Hey guys, I'm Nathalia.
And I'm Audrey.
And you're listening to the Talk Baby to Me podcast,
where we discuss everything parenthood.
From under the covers
to becoming mothers.
We will guide you through every step of the way. And I mean every step, especially the things that you didn't get to read in those cookie cutter pregnancy books.
We'll have you laughing and crying and everything in between.
Because at the end of the day, that is what motherhood is. And the best part,
we got to do it together.
And now we get to do it with you. Hey guys, it's Nathalia
and Audrey,
and you're listening to the Talk Baby to Me podcast.
Woohoo! That was what I said last time too.
I think we should just. Anywho, we're gonna keep rolling into it.
Yes.
Or should we stop?
So by the way, that's gonna happen so often. I think we're just gonna leave it on for all of our episodes. So today we're getting into birth stories. I think we left you guys on a cliffhanger, kind of.
Yep.
I think we were just getting to the hospital.
We were getting to the hospital and we discussed all the fun things about getting to the hospital.
Right.
And we also were talking about how we had complete opposite stories. And now I'm going to go ahead and get started with it because we left off.
One thing. Let me preface. I was wanting to say this to you guys. I think that we kind of skipped over a lot of important dates and everything in our last podcast that we did, but we're going to be getting into the nitty and gritty all through the season to with all of the symptoms and some of the key dates. And I just, there was much more to our stories, but that was just a quick overview.
Exactly. And I think it's important to remember that we're going to have guests. We're going to be able to dive into a lot of little things, ultrasound appointments, how it was during COVID, all the things that go into the actual pregnancy. But we definitely wanted to just give you an overview. That's the perfect word.
Woohoo.
Okay, back to me.
Okay, go.
So my birth story was actually picture perfect. I know. And, I want to just say this.
I'm always rolling my eyes currently.
I'm always so scared to talk about my birth story because I know that people are like, F you. So not everyone had a really good birth story. A lot of people had actually the opposite.
But that's at the point of doing this. So.
Exactly. So it's not always rainbows and butterflies, but I just got lucky and I had the most amazing help. The doctors were great. The nurses were great. During my pregnancy, I was at UCLA, Santa Monica, and they told me, I think I was 6 months pregnant, that my doctor, my OBGYN, was also pregnant, and she wasn't going to be there to deliver my baby.
That happened to my sister.
It's so nuts when they do that. Hey, just kidding. We're actually not going to be
in,
there.
And
I've gotten to know every part of your vagina. Exactly. But I'm not going to be there anymore. And so it was really upsetting because they're I was so who's going to deliver my baby? Yeah. And I never even thought about,
Well, you get attached. That's something too. You get attached to this person because it's not like you just go in and you found one doctor. I mean, that does happen. I'm a person that if I like you right away, that's done. But I didn't interview doctors. But it is, you get really attached to them.
Exactly. So. And I really loved her. I thought she was the best. She was so sweet. She answered all my questions. She wasn't pushy. She was just perfect. And, so then, I was so what do we do? And she's like, well, actually, to be honest, UCLA has a rotation of doctors. So if you happen to, on a Tuesday at 6 p.m. go into labor, then you're going to have this doctor, whoever's working on a shift that day. And I was like, wait, what?
That actually, that happens too.
It's very often.
In most because, doctors can go on vacation and your baby could come a week. So they have somebody in their office. Mm-hmm. That my doctor's office, he actually wasn't supposed to be there either, but
yeah.
Same.
So I did what any normal person would do. I booked an appointment with every single doctor who could possibly be at the hospital when I went into labor, right? That's what you would do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm crazy. And my fiance was like, are you sure you want to do? I'm like, yes. So the following appointments that I had, I purposely booked different OBGYNs. So I could at least, I knew I wasn't going to go through the entire roster, but I could at least... Oh, amateur hour.
Oh, that was me.
Time's up.
Sorry, guys. I have to set alarms to remind myself to do everything. So
that's mom.
Let me just make sure that's off. But keep going.
Yeah. So I met up with every one of them that I could, right? I wasn't going to get through the entire roster, but I met up with a few, and a couple of them weren't my cup of tea. So I immediately was like, what's his schedule? When is he going to be at the hospital? I just didn't, not like I could actually not have the baby if the baby was coming, but I wanted to be aware, and I was made aware. And long story short, November 6th at 5 a.m., I started feeling contractions, and I kind of thought they might be Braxton Hicks contractions, which are basically pain, but not real contractions. They're like fake contractions, I guess. Your body's trying to prepare you. I don't know what the hell it's trying to do. I think it's a trickster.
Right.
But so I kind of like punched my fiance in bed, and I looked at him and was like, I'm having pain. And he immediately, the cutest ever, reached over, grabbed a notepad and a pen, and logged the time. So cute. These are the moments that I remember, and I have to remind myself so I don't kill him.
Yeah.
But love you. Yeah, he logged it in, and yeah, so here it was. I was actually having consistent contractions. And the night before, so on the 5th, my girlfriend Kara came and gave me a massage. She did all the pressure points. Also, I had the date shake, as we spoke about before, and I was jumping on the ball, and I was doing all the things. So it was really funny. That day, I actually did a photo shoot, too.
Yeah, you're crazy.
I did a photo shoot the day before I went into labor.
Well, but it's such a gnat. That is a gnat. I feel like
I had to do it. Yeah. I was like, I feel so fat and pretty. Like, take a picture of me.
Also, you want to remember the moments.
Yeah.
I wish I did a lot of those things.
Yeah, and then my dogs were actually, it was really cute because I could tell they knew. It's weird how dogs have this sense because they knew. They were on me. They were all over me, and they're not really on me like that. So anyway, I'm jumping around a lot, but that's me also.
Yeah, whatever. That's what this podcast is about too.
Prior to getting into labor, I did these things called like trial runs, right? So I wanted to time how long it would take me to do my makeup and run over to the bathroom, blow dry my hair, and I've timed it all before because I'm she's laughing.
I told you, aspirational. In the last episode, we told you she's a go person, and I'm telling you, it's aspirational.
I had
because this bitch was not doing those trial
That's runs. So funny. I literally had a timer, and I was like, okay, I know after 2 minutes I'm gonna have the pain, and then I'm gonna have 5-minute gap. Yeah. So I did like mascara, blush. I did these trials. So when I started feeling the pain, I'm like, I'm ready. I was like, Mo, get the bag, get the puppies ready. I'm going to go take a bath. Because throughout my pregnancy, I would take baths and I would listen to my Breathe app. I would listen to my meditation music and I would breathe through everything. And I was really trying to get myself in a calm state because when trauma or any kind of weird things happen, I tend to just get like, rah.
No,
right?
that's super important.
So I'm like, I have to prepare myself mentally to go into this. And so I did the bathing and the meditation and all the things. So that day I'm like, okay, I wobble my butt over to the bath, turn on the water, throw in my little like candles, like floating candles. I put my Breathe app. I lay in the bathtub and I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad. And I just get really cozy. And then all of a sudden I'm like, ah! Sorry.
My trial runs were really no.
This is some bullshit. I was like, no way, baths are not it. Because I started to feel the contraction, and I swear it was like a horror film, you know, in those moments where they grab the bathtub and you just see the hand just clawing
and
on
your
like
back is arched.
And it's like arched. Yeah, that was me. I literally was going through it.
And so then, she looked like the girl off The Ring when she's like
exactly with my hair all wet. And then the contraction passed, and I was like, oh, okay, no, I'm good. Oh my God, you got this. Listen to the music, breathe, and now I can see like, okay, this is gonna be easy. And then again a contraction comes and I'm like, okay, fuck this. And so I wait for it to pass and I get out of the shower or get out of the bath and I go and I just start blow drying my hair immediately. And then I'm like, okay, I have to just at least get my hair somewhat ready. And I do. I managed to get through it. Whenever there was pain, I just yelled and I was cursing and I was like, ah, but then it would go away. And I did my routine. Now, it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be.
But it weren't, but you did it.
Because in my trial runs, I would hold like a bag of ice, thinking like that was going to be compared. That's like what it was like compared to have like the contractions. Right. It was nothing like that, you guys. So that's a bunch of bullshit.
I don't even know what you're talking about. So.
Also, like when you do the trial runs, they say that if you grab like a handful of ice, like holding on to it, that's supposed to like prepare you for having a contraction.
I don't know if you see my face, but that has it doesn't even to that.
She has question marks.
Yeah, like I just don't even understand how that would ever mesh, because a contraction is basically like a blackoutness.
Yeah,
so.
no, I know, but I did it. I thought it was going to be similar.
You know
I
what?
was proven
so
wrong.
You got ready though.
I got ready. Yeah, I did. I did like tinted moisturizer, a little bit of mascara, waterproof of course, and I blow dried my hair, and then we got into the car, and shit just was not pretty in the car. So we're just gonna fast forward. Just imagine it being like me not being really friendly to my fiance because every bump, and we did not live close to UCLA, Santa Monica, so I don't even know.
I will say, if you want to hear all about that, listen, because we talked about the car ride in the first episode.
Okay,
so
go back to the first episode.
Yeah, that's when you get all that car
all
stuff.
the juicy details about car stuff. Good reminder.
Yeah.
So get to the hospital, they check me, I'm dilated 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters I think, and they're like, so you could either go back home and just kind of go through the contractions a little bit on your own and come back when you're a little bit more dilated. And I looked at the nurse, and I was like, no. Get me in a room right now.
You're like, I did my trial runs to get here.
What are you talking about? I'm already here. I'm not gonna go home. She starts laughing. She's super sweet. We get in there. They do mind you, we both had to wear our masks.
Right.
And as I mentioned before, I'm asthmatic. So I told her, listen, I don't know that I'm gonna be able to go through any of this with this mask on. And she's like, it's okay. We're gonna COVID test you first.
Right.
And we're gonna COVID test your fiance before we let him into the room. And then once you guys are negative, everything's gonna be, you're good. You can have your mask on, or you can keep yourself, just you guys in the room. If you're not gonna have any guests, you're fine. So I was like, okay, cool.
Well, and you couldn't really have guests.
No,
except for I got a guest. We'll talk about that.
You could have one, they said, but like,
yeah.
What the hell would you want one for? Like, what are you gonna do? What are you just gonna stand around, look at me? So we're going through the whole thing, and I have time stamps about it all, because I remember being on my phone and like taking videos, because I really wanted to have like my Instagram reel of my pregnancy. And so I was like, I'm gonna just do little videos. But then when the pain was super bad, my fiance is not really into social media. He's not really a big, he's more in the moment than he is capturing them, if you will. And
I get that.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I'm like, oh my God, that's cute. Let's take a video. And so it started off pretty calm, and then as the contractions came, they were like, we are still at 2 centimeters dilated. We can't do anything yet, but we can do something to help you kind of calm your nerves and relax you a bit, because your water hasn't broke. Right. Hasn't broken. Wow, my English words are hard. And so all that to say, they gave me an option of doing a morphine shot. And so listen, everyone has this birth plan, right? And their birth plan is like, no medication, this, and this. And I respect everyone's views on absolutely everything. But my personal opinion and my birth plan consisted of absolutely no plan. It was, I'm going to go with the flow. I'm going to have a goal. And if I can keep myself unmedicated as long as I can, I will. If I just wanted to roll with it, and I did not want to stress myself out. I'm a very high anxiety person, so I wanted to just be calm, and I wanted my experience to be like as fluid and as like stress-free as possible.
Right.
So when they offered me that, and I was in like a really high moment of pain, I still said no. But then when the pain went away and I started to feel really sad that like I was not strong enough to go through it, I started doubting my ability to do it. And then I realized, you know what? I'm not strong, because I know I'm freaking capable. But why wouldn't I take help to just allow me to be a little bit more relaxed?
Right.
So I got a shot of morphine on my butt. It's fine.
It's the societal pressures to.
It's that.
Like just so you know, no one knows until you go into it. And I don't care what you say. No one knows. People that have birth plans and they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it totally naturally. Like, more power to you. That's perfectly fine. Whatever your journey is your journey. But that's one thing that we should discuss further.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, the society telling you that you shouldn't be taking any type of medication, even though you're in the worst pain ever. Like,
exactly.
That's a further conversation.
And I had the idea for like 20 minutes to do the unmedicated house birth thing.
Right.
20 minutes is all it lasted because I was like, hey, like, it seems just not necessarily because I think I'm capable of doing it. Probably for if I ever were to have a second baby, maybe I would try a little bit something different because now I know what I'm getting into. But the uncertainty and the fears of like, 1, COVID era, 2, not being near a hospital, there's a lot of things that I was scared of. And that's just my truth. And I'm not scared, to be honest with you guys. Like, I took the morphine shot and literally 3 minutes later, my water broke. I was so
Your
relaxed.
body relaxed.
I was so relaxed. I was able to take a nap through the contractions. I still squeezed the heck out of Mo's hand. And I was like, okay, my water broke. And they were like, yeah, so here's the thing. And now whenever you feel a little bit of pressure, kind of feels like you have to take a poop.
Yeah.
When you start feeling that pressure, that's when you need to let us know, and the doctor will come in and see how far, dilated you are. I'm like, okay, sounds good. I'll do that. So we're in there. Mo got to watch, like, what was it, like football? There was football on. It was Saturday. Yeah,
I know. I remember.
Morning.
You guys were in the nice-ass room.
Yeah, we did. We opted in. I was like, you're buying that room. I don't know what it was, but my fiance is so sweet, you guys. He really did want to make it as perfect as it could be. So he did pay for, like, this really fancy-looking hotel room thing.
Yeah. I was like, I'm coming over watching the game. Just kidding.
He watched, like, 3 games, he said. Or he said he watched a couple movies and then a football game. I can't remember exactly, but and I was just sleeping through it. So it was, like, around, I don't know, like maybe 4 o'clock that I started to feel a lot more pain. I kind of want to look just to verify because, I don't know, I want to be accurate. So let me look. But
timestamps, baby.
I did have timestamps. I'm like, let me just utilize them. I should have probably done the research before jumping on the podcast, but it's okay. So after I got the morphine shot, my water broke, and then the doctor came back in, and she checked me, and I was 4 centimeters dilated. She's like, okay, like, just keep riding the wave. We'll come back in and check on you. And then the morphine wore off, and I was, like, in the most insane pain again because now the contractions were happening, like, back to back to back. And it almost felt like I was, like, gonna die. So
to put it lightly,
I thought I was gonna die. And so they were like, look, this is the time. If you want to get the epidural, this is the time. But if you think that you can stay still, because you have to stay really, really still.
Yeah.
If you think you can stay still, we can get an epidural nurse to come in here, and it's going to take a couple minutes. But if you think that you're going to be able to do it, this is the time, because once it gets past this moment, we will not be able to do it anymore. And so I went ahead and followed my gut, and I said, yeah, give me the epidural. Let me make this a very stress-free environment for myself, and also get rid of this pain. So the nurse came in, and she had me turn over and stand straight up, and this part got really scary because every time a contraction came, the only thing I wanted to do was curl into a ball. Like, that's what I wanted to do. But when you get the epidural, the needle is freaking this massive.
Well, basically, they tell you, like, you have to be super still to have this, because if it puts in a different part of your spine, which is where this epidural is going, you can literally be paralyzed. So they're like, here, literally stay still while, like, death is racking your body. So, or actually life is racking your body, to be honest. But
yeah. So, I mean, this is where my nurse, her name was London. She was so sweet. She's like, listen, girl, you just got to do it. You're already here. Like, she just pep talked me, and I was like, oh shit, okay. She held my hand, like the sweetest person ever. Like, she didn't have to go that far. No. She went there, held my hands. She was rubbing my hair back. She's like, you can do this. And every time a contraction came, I think we only went through 2. Like, as soon as the nurse started with the epidural, I was feeling one, and then it went away. And then after that, another one came, and then after that, I was done. It was all good. Everything was cleared to go. I did not move. I was like, oh, this is crazy. And then, like, everything's fine. And London held my hand the entire time. Mind you, I got sent roses. I gave them to her. Oh, I was like, you deserve these, because you, with your support, that's how I was able to deliver
the
my
ones
baby.
I sent? Or
just not yours. Yours I kept. Okay, so let's move past that. So I got the epidural. Now I'm just laying there. Now I'm, like, kind of like, okay. I kind of have to be honest, like I still felt something, but it was like really light cramping. It wasn't anything too intense. I was able to like actually laugh about it, and my fiance and I looked at each other and I was just like, you're such a funny person, you're watching football. And I was all like, and so
morphine and
yeah, I don't know what was going on. I was heavily medicated, but that was at 4 p.m. Okay, about, I don't know, like an hour and a half later, I start feeling that pressure that the doctor was talking about. Like
you had to take a poop.
Yeah, I did feel like that. It did. I felt like I had to take a massive I'm just kidding.
I feel you there, though. I know.
And when that happened, I'm like, oh, London, I think something's happening. She comes in. She's like, oh, let me get the doctor. So this doctor comes in. Never met her before. She's one that I have never met.
Even though you
went
interviewed every single one in LA.
Of course. The one that I never met comes in. And she's like, hi, I'm going to be your doctor today. And I looked at her and I was like, hi, I'm Nathalia. I'm having a baby. And she starts laughing. And I'm like, okay, like, good to meet you. And so she just, flips in there. And she's like, oh, you're ready to go. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know what that means, but let's do it. So I start fixing my hair. I start like getting my phone ready. I'm like, okay, Mo, it's happening. Please get videos and phone cameras and all that. And like, I'm just talking like completely out of my butt because I'm like super like not really there. I'm so tired. I woke up at 4 with contractions. It's now almost 6 p.m.
4 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 a.m. It's almost 6 p.m. now. I've been just kind of like in this weird stage of like, what is life? And then, lo and behold, it was about 6:10 p.m. on Saturday. The doctor says, we're ready to go. Are you ready? I see these nurses, like freaking Charlie's Angels, just do cartwheels into the room. One grabs a light. I'm getting my hair ready thinking it's a ring light. Then the other doctor comes and grabs me in the hand and says, hi, how you feeling? You're doing good? I'm like, yes. Everyone's coming in and just like assuming their position like these freaking angels, like these almost like Power Rangers, just ready to do the damn thing. And I'm so hyped because it's a room full of women about to just do what they're doing. And I'm just so proud of like the fact that like they're there, and I'm so excited to be there with them. They were so kind, and I can't even express how almost like cinematically choreographed the whole thing was.
They work well together.
It was amazing. And so she points the light. She's like, okay, so you're going to hold on to your legs, your inner thighs, just hold on to them. They put the stirrups up, and I'm so confident. Like, I wasn't even shy at all because for a while I was like, am I going to be fucking shy? Like, they're going to be all up in me. Like, whoa, this is so weird. I've never ever, well, we won't get into that, but yeah. It was just really uncomfortable, right? But I didn't even think about it. They were just so powerful, these women. And so they're like, okay, you're going to hold your thighs this way. You're going to let your arms out like this. And so they teach me how to do it. And she's like, okay, when I count to 3, you're going to have a contraction. And when I count to 3, you're going to push, okay? And I want you to push like you've never pushed before. And I looked at her and I was like, okay. She's like, you got that? I'm like, yes. I'm like, Mo, get video. She's like, well, just get pictures. And he's like, okay, I'll get pictures. And so then she's like, 1, 2, 3. And so I pushed like no other. And she's like, okay, wait, don't push anymore. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay. Too much? I knew I was good at this.
I did that. Gold star for me.
So then she's like, okay, ready? We're going to do another one just like that. Okay, great. So at 6:14, my little angel comes out.
That's so quick.
And he is in my arms, and he's bonding with me, and he's crying, and oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
There are tears in her eyes right now, which is the sweetest thing ever, because that is just a moment that you just will never forget. It won't dull.
It will never.
This is also over a year and a half after,
and I will never forget that moment. Like,
don't make me cry right now.
I'm sorry. It's just it's the realness of it. It's like, doesn't even matter how much I stressed for 9-10 months. It doesn't matter how much I planned. It doesn't matter how much I thought I was going to be prepared. It doesn't matter. None of it mattered except for that moment where he was on my chest and I gave birth to my entire purpose.
Yeah,
Shit, I'm crying.
I can't talk because I feel like I'm gonna tear up. Ooh. I'm a crier, so.
Yep. There was that moment.
Yes, I know. She got the that I had last.
Yeah, the that I didn't have when I found out I was pregnant. The that I didn't have throughout like the first trimester. Yeah. The that I didn't have throughout like the back pain, the fucking everything and breaking and honestly
the relief that you feel once you birth this child, yeah. however it goes down, but once they put it on your chest, they put them on your chest, it's magic.
It is magic. There is no other word. And I'm really blessed to say that I had that experience. Thankful for my fiance, thankful for my doctors, thankful for the nurses that are little freaking angels.
You go, London.
You go. Yeah. I really gotta find her. She's gonna be like, I don't remember you. But I feel like we had a connection.
Aww.
Anyway, I do want to say that like not a lot of people have a great story like that. A lot of people have gone through different experiences, and so I'm really grateful to say that I had that. And what happened afterwards was a completely different story, but we will get into that later. I do think that one of the bonds that Audrey and I have is that we were there for each other during these times, and her story was different.
Yeah, and it was very different.
And I want to let you have the chance to tell everybody that story, and let's give them the other side of it.
I will go. Yeah. So to me, I guess now it's time for me to start with my birth story, which is a lot more dramatic at the end of it. So let's just start from there. I think last time I was speaking, I was being dropped off at Cedars-Sinai after going through the LA Marathon, going back, starting from brunch, going back to get my bag to Encino, and then driving all the way back to Cedars-Sinai while basically bucking in the car, like screaming, even though it came on so suddenly. But we got dropped off. DJ didn't know exactly where to go because at the time you had to book a tour of Cedars-Sinai to see the venue before because it was COVID, but they weren't doing live what's it called? Tours. Live tours. They were only doing like online type things. So we didn't know where to park exactly for this, which I guess we should have prepared for. That's my bad. So I'm trying to Google like where to go in. I'm calling them to look for everything. And then when we pull up, DJ never does this. So this is a big thing. He's like, I want to take a picture of you like going in. And the security guard was like, no pictures, like get out of the car. And I'm like, dying and like trying to take a picture, and then I was mad. So there were so many things, but basically got to Cedars. They rushed me up in a wheelchair, and when I got to the window, I had a contraction right when I walked up, and it's there. It's like the birthing unit, So as I'm walking there, I like hold on, and they all know at the place, like this is what's gonna happen. So they're like, just breathe, like everyone in the whole room, just breathe. And I'm like, and they're like, are you giving birth? Are you ready to have your baby? And I was like, yeah. So basically they put me back in this room as soon as I got to Cedars, and they examined me, not my doctor, just the nurses. And at that point, my contractions were so close together that they were like, we just need you to lay down. I know it hurts, and take off my clothes. And so at this point, I'm kind of blacking out because I'm like trying to deal with the pain, but it kept coming so suddenly I couldn't catch my breath. And when I laid down and they checked for any dilation or anything, I had not been dilated the whole time. A lot of times you dilate like a little bit before you go in, like the week leading up to it or something. I was not dilated whatsoever. So typically you can't get your epidural, or not, you can't. They just don't usually do an epidural for you at that point. I was in so much pain, and they could see it. Like it, honestly, I had felt nothing, and then all of a sudden, every pain I could feel, but I really couldn't breathe, and I kept getting lightheaded. So they were like, we're gonna actually keep you here. You're not dilated at all, so this could be a long time that you're waiting. And first of all, like that's the last thing you want to hear.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna black out from pain, So not morphine did they offer me, but they offered me fentanyl. And first of all, I went in the same way. Everyone tells you, not everyone, so many people tell you to do a birth plan, or your doctors ask, do you have a birth plan? And then all the books you read are like, you should maybe make a birth plan, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I know myself, because if I don't go according to plan, then I'm just going to be kind of thrown off. So I just was like, whatever's going to happen. These doctors have been doing this way longer than I've been giving birth. So I figured they're going to know what to do. But what I knew about fentanyl is it was being put in kids' candy and they were dying. Or,
probably not the right thing to say to you when you're like sitting there.
So
about
I was
to
like,
die.
I don't know. I was just delirious. Like, it didn't really click. I'm like, Michael Jackson died from fentanyl, right? Like,
Oh,
these are what is
no.
happening. But I was like, give it to me.
Oh, no.
At this point, I was like, obviously, I'm in a hospital, right? They know what they're doing. Like, give me this fentanyl. And so they did end up giving it to me. And I kind of like, I did not lose consciousness, but because I was in so much pain from the contractions, I don't remember exactly like when the calmness hit or how that little part of it went, because I wasn't in the birthing room yet. I was just in like a room before they move you
Right.
to where you give birth. And so I was much calmer, but it was not helping my contractions. So they wanted to get me to an epidural right away. They're
my
like, I know,
gosh.
if do you have a plan for this? Do you not want it? And I was like, I definitely want it. I want it, and I want it right now. But I was also, they were so nice and so calm, but they were just, I think I didn't realize how much pain it could be. And I have a really high pain tolerance for so many things, I guess.
Yeah, this is the girl that was sitting through brunch,
Yeah,
casually having
but that's
contractions.
why it was so crazy, because I was sitting through brunch having contractions, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
it just went from 0 to 100. So at this point, I like, again, it's a little fuzzy, but I'm waiting for my epidural, and they're like, it could be like 2 hours, so let's just calm down in here. They have not moved me to my birth room again. So about an hour later, I got my epidural. Was put in a room, not the birthing room again, and they were like, you have to sit still. And I'm good at taking directions, so the fentanyl obviously helped me a bit, but it wasn't like the pain of the contraction I could feel, but my body wasn't reacting to the contraction as much. So I could sit still. But, you know, they scare the shit out of you. They're like, you're going to be...
Don't move.
Yeah, don't move, or you're literally going to paralyze yourself. This is what I'm thinking. So I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, don't move, don't move. You know, like, I'm not going to move. Like, I'm such a good girl. And immediately, so they put the epidural in, and a lot of people also tell you that an epidural is going to be super painful, right?
Mhm.
There's nothing compared to the pain I felt from those contractions. So getting the epidural was a relief. I was like, put that needle in, you know, like, and that, the epidural saved my life. So I get it.
Yeah.
Strong, like, whoever's giving birth out or birthing at home or birthing without any type of help in that way is, I don't know, you guys are
superwoman.
like,
yeah, like on some other, because
Yeah.
I could never. Also we're really, really tiny, and like
Yeah.
there's just so many things you feel like a lot more intense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe it just,
well, and
you're
also
just-
I'm not opposed to medicine, so I was like,
right, exactly.
I didn't go in thinking that, but you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. My mom was like, I did all 5 without it, and I was like, but because they didn't offer it to you then, you totally would have taken it.
Yeah.
So, after this, you can't walk after epidural. So they wheeled my bed into the birthing room. That was the first time I've seen it, and it was so nice, guys. Like, Cedars-Sinai has such a beautiful birthing room. I'm telling you this because I will tell you how the recovery room was after. So the birthing room was amazing. I was wheeled in, and it was so I started having contractions about 11 in the morning. I got to the hospital probably around like 1, and I got into the birthing room at like 3. So at 3 o'clock, they're like, don't worry, you're still not dilated. We checked. We're just going to put the catheter in because you cannot walk. If you have to get up, let us know. Somebody's going to have to take you. And they're like, but it's going to be a while. Like, you're looking at probably overnight here. And I was like, man, but at that point I was so relaxed. And there was like a couch, and DJ was watching football and
Oh my goodness.
betting. And I think it was like, I don't know why I can't think. I actually love sports, but I can't think of what was
I know
actually
why you
happening
can't
at the time.
think of what wasn't happening.
At the time. So he's completely relaxed. He's like, there's a Starbucks down the street. I'm going to go get Starbucks. Do you want anything? And I was like, I can't have anything, but thank you. Like, I can have ice chips. You can give me ice. So as that's going on, I'm kind of like just hanging in the bed. He comes back. His mom and dad are like, we're coming. I called the hospital, and I know you can't have any visitors, but we're gonna come. We're just gonna like be in the outside the room. And
they're so sweet.
They are. They really
She's
are.
like, I called and I talked to the owner. I'm just kidding.
First of all, I called the owner of the hospital, and they're letting me in. I don't care. This would happen.
The owner.
This would happen.
I'm just kidding.
It would not, by the way, exactly. So she comes, and I let her come in the room. You can only have one visitor. It's COVID, and I didn't even know that you could have one. So anyways, that happened. She comes in, and again, we're thinking like it's going to take a long time. The doctor's not even there yet. I haven't seen the doctor. I've seen all the nurses who were wonderful, and I've seen they had like the practicing doctors at the time, so not your actual doctor and not even actual people who birth babies, but just rounds doctors. So they're checking me, and nothing's happening. Janet's still there. She's talking. Her hearing aids aren't in, so everything I'm saying is just nil, and just having whatever. So 5 to 10 minutes later, they come in, and they're like taking, my heart rate keeps going, or the baby's heart rate keeps going down. So I'm like, they're moving me or putting your legs up or whatnot, which is not scary. Like, first of all, my sister gave birth 2 weeks before, and her birth was really scary. So at this point, I'm like, if you're not telling me something's scary, nothing's scary. But then they keep having me move in all different directions, putting a leg up here. They can't find the heartbeat, but then they find it. Everything's fine. Oof. But they check me again, and like, oh, you're dilating. Like, great. And I'm like, oh, yes,
Yeah.
And so the doctor's being called, and he's coming in, but again, this is like, I want to say like 8
p.m.
Okay. And around 8 p.m., the doctor's being called to come in. I haven't seen him just mind you, haven't seen him. So I'm like, okay, that means we're getting the ball rolling, right? I'm dilating. They're calling the doctor. That means I'm about to give birth. So as I'm moving around, trying to keep the baby's heartbeat up, I start feeling like you have to take shit, like not actually, but like really bad pressure. And I still had not had my water break. So they went in and broke my water at this point.
How did they do that?
They popped it with like I was not down there. I did not see, but they told me they were going to break my water, and they literally I think they just take like a thing and like pop your water.
Okay.
So when they did, there was muconium in the water that came out, which means basically like your baby has been breathing in muconium, which is not something to be super scared about. It can be worrisome, but my doctors, the doctors around me, the nurses around me were making me feel like, oh, it's perfectly normal. This happens, but you just have to pay attention when the baby comes out. So again, I'm like, okay, fine. They popped my water in so left the room thinking, oh, this is fine. You're still going to be a while. Doctor's still not here. It's like 8:15 or like 9 o'clock. So they're telling me still you're a little dilated. 9 o'clock, they're like, I was like, I'm feeling a lot of pressure. Like I'm feeling sick. I need a bag. I need to get up. I'm going to throw up. I feel like something's happening. And I was like, I feel it's hurting. Like, and they're like, it should not be hurting. You had your epidural in, like you're hooked up to a machine. It's pumping you. So I am just at that point, I'm like, I think I need a doctor. I'm telling DJ, like, you need to get the doctor. I'm telling Janet, you need to get the doctor. So the doctor comes in, the practicing doctor, and he sees me, and he's like, oh, there's a head. Like, you can.
Oh my God.
The baby's crowning, like you can see the baby, but the Dr. Goldberg was my doctor. Rest in peace. He is no longer with us, but he is not there yet. And he's the one that makes me feel calm and safe, because you get attached to your doctors. And I just really took to him the first time. So as soon as I knew he was on his way, but then there was a head, I was like, you just like kind of like,
you get a little bit anxious. You're like, hold on, where's my doctor? What? Yeah.
Well, and then I have a Janet in the room.
Oh yeah.
Janet is DJ's mom, guys. She is like, What's happening? Are you sure? What's happening over there? Why is everyone coming to talk to you? Da, 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 da. And I'm like,
no.
Janet, the baby's coming. She's like, what?
Oh my
and I'm
gosh.
Like, at this point, I'm so tired and not feeling great. I was like, just stay, Janet. You can just stay. Like, the baby's coming. Like, it's fine. Okay. So all of this is happening. They're like putting down the side gates. I'm putting up my legs. They're like, all of them are putting on booties and changing into like the birthing gear. And in walks my doctor in a hat. He sits down and is sitting on my bed, and he's like just patting my knee. He's like, "Are you ready? I think we're ready to have a baby. I'm super excited for this. Like, you got this." And he's like so casual, and it just calms me immediately, you know?
Yeah.
And
that's amazing.
And
that
he's
he
like,
got there.
and he's like joking with me, right? Yeah, and that's why it's super actually important to have that bond with your doctor.
Yeah.
Because it's such a calming experience. Like, been looking at you for 9 months and telling you all the advice that you want to hear or don't want to hear for 9 months going into this. So that calmed me down. As the baby was crowning, he's like, "Okay, you're ready to push. Like, let's do some practice pushes." While he goes and gets ready, I'm doing practice pushes with the nurses, and he's like, he comes back in and he's like, "Okay, we're ready to go. Like, let's push." And this is like 10. And as I'm pushing, or as I'm like starting to prepare to push, he's telling me, "Do you think you can do this before this time?" And I was like, give me a time. I'm going to beat it. Like, I'm getting so competitive. Yeah.
In true Audrey spirit.
Yes. I was like, make this a competition. And honestly, I was very calm, even and DJ was behind me holding my hand and not saying a word.
Oh.
And at this time, I was telling Janet, please you can video what you want or take video of whatever you want, but please do not get my vagina like after like all this stuff. Like, I don't want to watch that. I'm terrified.
Meanwhile, I'm like, get a video of my vagina.
I was like, please
make sure you get it at the right angle.
And this is Janet. Either she didn't hear or she did not care to listen to what I had to say. And she got those. In hindsight now, I'm very thankful for all the videos she got, but I swear to God, my whole birth is on there. So, okay, we get ready to go. Janet is filming in the corner, and she's like not talking for a minute, but then in between pushes, like my first push, they're like, "Oh, you're ready. Like, you have really strong abdominal muscles." Like,
yes, girl. How's that?
Thank you. I've been working on those for a while. And I push, and you're like, "Oh, this is coming much faster." I think I did like 4 pushes altogether. But in between the pushes, they'd be like, "You breathe," and Janet would be like, "So, doctor, what are you doing down there?"
Oh
and I'm
my
like,
gosh.
"Can you not
oh
talk?"
my gosh.
It was funny, but it also made for a comical, and it took all the pressure off of it and made for a comical birth.
That's so funny.
So, okay, all of this is going well. I
just want to say it's a weird flex, but pushing your baby out in just a few pushes.
Yeah. No, first of all, I feel so good for myself because some people are pushing for hours, even days, and that is exhausting. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
I think I did 4 pushes.
That's
I
right.
can't remember.
My girl.
My baby came out, and this is where it gets dramatic, but I'm not going to get super, super into it. I'm just because I don't have all the medical terms for it, and I don't want to say anything I shouldn't say. But basically, I pushed the baby out, and they brought her up and put her on my chest, and I was tired from pushing, but you get that immediate gratification that your child is here. But immediately they snatched her back. She was completely blue, and she wasn't breathing at all. So they took her away from me, and a whole bunch of doctors rushed in, and I did not know I was going to get this emotional. I'm trying to say it. They took her away from me, and by my doctor at this time, I'm getting emotional because in hindsight, I know what was happening, but I did not know at the moment what was happening. And they were working on her, and I could see they're pumping everything out of her. And this was like 25 minutes of them working on her. And in the meantime, I'm being stitched up because I've torn in a million places. But my doctor was so wonderful. And another thing that's hard to look past is he's no longer with us. So when I have a second, I don't get that experience if something happened like this. But he was like, teaching somebody, as he had a teaching doctor, so he was kind of like telling me what was going on, and he was like, yeah, she's perfectly fine, like the baby's fine, don't worry about it, this happens, like, and he's telling me about myself and what I can do, so it's distracting me, so I'm not too worried. But then they start like resuscitating her, and I didn't see it. Now when I'm looking at the videos that Janet took, she should not have been doing this, and it's actually, this is why I'm not going to say anything about what was happening exactly, because I don't know the medical terms, but she was not supposed to be filming. She filmed everything. So they have her being resuscitated, and they had,
Okay.
I know, I haven't really talked about this in so much depth. They have her being resuscitated on camera, which I have. And now when I look at those videos, it's just kind of really hard. So the meconium actually blocked her passageways. It got into her lungs, and it could be much worse, much, much worse. I have mommies in my other mommy group that have had worse stories and horror stories, but I didn't get to feel that like gratification for 25 minutes. And when she was put on my chest, she was fine. She was great. And again, I had not known how much was wrong until after. So she was put on my chest. It was amazing. The most magical feeling you'll ever feel. I honestly feel like even though your body is exhausted and you've done everything you can to expel all of your energy, you have such an adrenaline rush, and you get to lay with your child, and you're smiling, like you can't get a smile off your face. So I'm going to stop it there, because after all of that, after our fourth trimester and moving to different beds and different rooms and going home is a whole nother episode. But
100%.
Yeah.
I will say that you are a warrior. You went through such a freaking crazy experience. Don't deflect. Take this. You handled all of it like a champ, and I'm so proud of you. And you have such a beautiful baby girl. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't even know half of that. I knew a little bit, but not in that much detail. And I can't imagine reliving that being easy. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Of course. And you guys.
I'm trying not to cry, guys, if you can't tell.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm listening. And again, you guys, follow Talk Baby to Me podcast for more.
Yeah. And
leave us a review.
DM us if you guys have any topics, questions, concerns, feedback. We would love it.
Yes. And we will see
Let's
you,
not
hear
high five.
you.
We'll just like
we're going to hug after this. But thanks for listening, you guys.
Yeah. Thanks. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for listening. You can stay in touch with us on Instagram at TalkBabyToMePC and our YouTube at Talk Baby to Me Podcast.
And listen to us on Apple and Spotify or anywhere you get your podcasts.
Thank you.
Thanks.